What if Arsenal wins the Champions League?
One more stride up Arsenal's stairway to heaven. Next stop, Budapest, and a crack at the ultimate prize in European football.
Doesn't matter which team you support, that would be the night you will remember forever. People said Arsenal weren't ready. People said PSG were too strong, because no one dared to admit just how dangerous Arsenal truly are.
No, Arsenal are probably the only team in the world that can actually stop that team playing the way they'll stop them playing the way they want to play. They can't stop Arsenal, Shaban.
This isn't just a Champions League final. This is the answer to the entire world after years of absence, to remind them who the Invincibles truly are.
Fresh legs of Calafiori, and that was whipped in beautifully and finished off by Noni Madueke.
White in support, pulls it right across Gyökeres! Well, he couldn't miss from that range, but that feels like a big moment.
More than 20 years of waiting, the hunger has reached its peak. Heaven for the Gunners is now only 90 minutes away.
Arsenal are in the Champions League final, beating Atletico Madrid 1-0 at the Emirates, 2-1 on aggregate. Huge for them, their first Champions League final for 20 years. And Arsenal sit on the edge of the biggest season in their history. They've got a 90-minute shot at winning the Champions League, Premier League and Champions League in one season. Their best season in Arsenal's history. It might not be the best football in Arsenal's history.
May 30th, 2026. Budapest, Hungary. The prestigious Silver Champions League trophy is there. Destiny is waiting to call Arsenal's name. Gunners, are you ready to return to the position of a ruler once again?
Arsenal are in the Champions League final! Yeah! Come on! Yeah! Come on! Oh, never in doubt, never in doubt.
It's amazing, doesn't it? I can't stop smiling. Just seeing the Emirates. We fought like an Arsenal team.
Yes.
You're like, oh, well, one team, PSG's been great, but Arsenal will be there. They'll be there in the final and they'll be ready to play.
Before talking about the present, you need to understand where Arsenal came from to get here. Because if you don't understand that journey, you will never truly feel the weight of the Budapest moment. Let's go back to 2004 when Arsenal were an empire. The Invincibles, undefeated for an entire Premier League season, 38 matches, not a single defeat.
Torres again. The game warming up. Yes! Oh, you can feel the relief around Highbury.
Thierry Henry ran like the wind, Patrick Vieira dominated the midfield, and Arsene Wenger stood on the touchline with the smile of a man who knew he was witnessing history. That was Arsenal. The entire world looked up to, not because they won, but because the way they won made people unable to look away.
And then when you used to arrive, people were walking on the street, Avenue Road, waiting for us to arrive, play the game, enjoy themselves. More often than not, we used to win here. We lost some games, to be fair, but more often than not, we used to win.
And then suddenly, everything passed by. That empire began to collapse, not through a dramatic explosion, but through the slow, painful erosion that hurts the most in football. The stars left. Investment money dried up as the Emirates Stadium was built. Manchester City rose with endless money. Chelsea entered the game. And Arsenal, the club that once ruled England, slowly became a name people mentioned with pity more than respect. 22 years without a Premier League, no Champions League, nothing at all. Fans started to feel embarrassed talking about ambition, because every time they spoke, disappointment came crashing down like a slap. The club that once ruled England became the lucky top 4 team. Fans felt embarrassed mentioning ambition because every time they did, disappointment followed. That was Arsenal across 2 decades of suffering, a great name trapped in the shadow of its own history. That was the context when Mikel Arteta arrived in December 2019, and people laughed. a former midfielder who had never been a head coach, taking one of the hardest jobs in Europe at a club that had completely lost its direction. In his first season, Arsenal finished 8th, their worst result in decades.
All season, we were good enough to beat the top 6, as we've seen all season. Today was just a game where I don't know what happened to them. No energy. As I stuck up all season, but today he's been awful and quite awful all season.
The pressure to sack him appeared early. On social media, even the club's own fans were calling for the board to make a decision. But Mikel Arteta refused to break. Not because he was stubborn, but because he saw clearly what others couldn't see. Arsenal didn't need a better manager. They needed to be rebuilt from the roots. He started doing that in a way very few people would dare to, removing players who were toxic to the team culture, no matter how talented they were. Recruiting players who not only had skill, but also the right mentality, willing to sacrifice their ego for the collective, building a clear philosophy and staying committed to it through every season, every match, every smallest decision inside the dressing room. And more importantly than anything else, he built a roadmap, not baseless expectations, but a roadmap with specific goals, step by step, from not qualifying for Europe to the Europa League, then the Champions League quarterfinals, then the semi-finals, and now here they are, the final. After 20 years.
Leandro Trossard, and tapped in by Bukayo Saka. Arsenal have lift off in the semi-finals.
The moment the final whistle blew in that second leg semi-final match was not just a victory, it was the result compressed from 5 years of rebuilding, from thousands of training hours, from nights Arteta sat analysing video until 2 a.m, from difficult conversations inside the dressing room that no one outside ever knew about, and from the moment Saka scored that goal to the final in Budapest. Arsenal knew they were ready, and, more importantly, they believed it.
Look, it's outstanding. You know, the club did wait for that for a very long time. As you know, Mikel Arteta, Gyökeres was immense tonight. Bukayo Saka, what he had to endure to play, you guys don't know. He did everything to be able to be on that field, and on the field we saw the weekend. Everybody, really, it's been a journey. Let's enjoy it. Obviously, if you love Arsenal, but then let's concentrate on now finishing the league well, and then the final of the Champions League. I'm gonna have my guys in Budapest.
But if you only rely on emotion, it still isn't enough. Let the numbers speak, because numbers have no emotion and they do not lie. Arsenal are the only team in Champions League history to win all 8 group stage matches. 8 matches, no losses, no draws, winning every single one. The second place team in the group finished 4 points behind them. To show you the level of that dominance, teams like Real Madrid or Bayern Munich, the familiar giants of the Champions League, didn't even achieve this during their greatest seasons. And what about the defence? The centre-back pairing of William Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes have not conceded from open play in the Champions League for more than 2 consecutive years. 2 years, not 2 matches, not 2 months. 2 years.
Arsenal fans, just tell us how proud you feel tonight.
I cried. I'm so proud. Listen, I'm 28. So for me to see my team do what we did today, big deal. And listen, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I'm just proud of my team right now. The tattoo's pending. I can't wait to get a tattoo for Arsenal if we win, but I'm so happy.
And are they going to win? Whether it's PSG, Bayern Munich, do you care?
Listen, if you're a real Arsenal fan, you believe they'll win. As simple as that, I believe.
And no fear of Harry Kane coming back to haunt you?
I don't care. He's an Arsenal fan. He will step up for us. He will step up for us. I don't care. I do not care.
Saliba will pocket Harry Kane. I'm telling you this now. I don't care if Harry Kane goes to the 18-yard box to try and get the ball. Saliba will be there. He will be. The Rolls Royce will be there. If Harry Kane is class, Saliba's the teacher, mate.
PSG know that. Real Madrid know it. Bayern Munich know it. And all of them still couldn't find a solution. And in the Premier League right now, Arsenal are leading with 76 points after 35 matches, 5 points ahead of Manchester City in a title race. The entire country is holding its breath, watching every round. After 22 years of drought, they are here, right here. Arsenal in 2026 are not a team that is building. They are a team that has already finished building, already been tested, and is now operating at the absolute highest level of efficiency.
But I think what we've seen from Arsenal this season, and certainly albeit the Sunderland game, where they dropped points, was a bit of an anomaly for them, particularly from a leading position, was the opposite of what Liverpool have, and I know we're going to get to them. They're at the moment, their confidence is getting sapped, and Arsenal are just building momentum. And listen, they're the real deal.
Those numbers did not appear from nowhere. They are the product of a clear and consistent philosophy that Arteta has built over many years. This is not the Arsenal of gifted individuals playing beautiful football before collapsing when the pressure reaches its peak. This is a living system. Every player has a clearly defined role, every action has a specific tactical purpose, and every decision in a match is made based on a scenario carefully prepared in advance. They press with high intensity when there is space to exploit. They build up slowly and intelligently through the lines when opponents sit deep. When facing Europe's biggest teams, they know exactly when to absorb pressure, when to launch lightning-fast counterattacks, and when to slow the tempo to preserve energy for decisive moments. If I had to summarise Arsenal this year in one sentence, I would say this: they don't kill you with technique, they kill you with discipline. That discipline is specifically shown through the weapons Arteta will bring to Budapest, and each of those weapons is not just good. They create tactical problems with no simple solution for the opponent. The first weapon is David Raya, and this is something most casual football viewers do not notice enough. Raya is not just a good goalkeeper in the traditional sense. He is a free midfielder inside the goal. His top-tier ball distribution with his feet allows Arsenal to begin their entire build-up process from the back without fear of being trapped by a pressing system and losing the ball in dangerous areas. When opponents want to press high to cut off Arsenal's build-up, Raya always finds an escape route with precise passes through the pressure. What does that mean? It means Arsenal are practically playing with 12 men. They have an extra player involved in the build-up phase without sacrificing any position on the pitch. 9 clean sheets in 13 Champions League matches and 17 clean sheets in the Premier League this season earned him 2 Golden Gloves across these 2 prestigious competitions, showing his ability to control matches from the goalkeeper position.
That's a long way. Raya has to make the save. Chiquinho. Did David Raya get a touch? He did. It's a corner.
Directly connected with Raya in that control process is Declan Rice, the true brain of the entire team. Rice plays deep in the centre, attracts pressure, distributes the ball intelligently, and creates the rhythm for the whole side. But what makes Rice more dangerous than many people realise is his ability to suddenly burst straight into the penalty box at the most unexpected moments. Runs that opposing defences cannot react to in time because they are too focused on other threats. Opponents are forced to assign at least one, often 2 players to mark Rice constantly throughout the match, and that exact thing, the attention Rice pulls toward himself, is what opens up space for the other weapons to operate.
And I think he's had an unbelievable year. I've got to say, we talk about Ballon d'Or one side, but he's had an unbelievable year. He's this hybrid of just quality, reading the game. When his team is in danger and they're exposed and there's a transition counter-attack, he's the one who reads the game and almost with his pace and his tackling gets them out of a lot of trouble. It's why they're top of the league. He is a big impact on why Arsenal are top of the league and top of the Champions League.
Among them, the most important is Bukayo Saka. If you ask me the one player PSG should fear the most, my answer is not Gyökeres, not Martinelli. It is Saka. Because no team on this planet has found a way to contain Saka on the right wing without creating deadly space somewhere else. Double mark him with a defender and a midfielder, then Rice and Gyökeres are completely free in the centre and the left flank. Give him space and leave only one defender against him, and he will tear apart the right side in less than 3 seconds. You just saw that in the semi-final against Atletico Madrid, when the entire Metropolitano was holding its breath, when the pressure had reached its peak, Saka received the ball and scored. That was not the random reaction of a naturally gifted talent. That was instinct forged through thousands of training hours and hundreds of similar high-pressure moments. And it never fails when Arsenal need it most.
He's our main guy, he's our best player. I think people have overlooked it for quite a while that the best player in the team has been out for quite a while. And he came back, we've seen little bits of him coming back, and I've been looking at him thinking to myself, how good would it be to get this guy firing between now and the end of the season, because he's good enough to lead us to a title or to a Champions League title, and it is so important that we got him back, and you saw that today. Absolute class, this guy.
Behind all those attacking weapons lies the true foundation of the team: William Saliba and Gabriel. These two are not just the best defensive pairing in the Champions League this season, they are the fundamental reason Arsenal can apply any tactical system without fearing punishment when losing possession. Elite game reading, split-second anticipation, world-class marking. With Saliba and Gabriel behind them, Arteta can ask the rest of the team to attack more aggressively, press higher, because he knows that if mistakes happen, someone will deal with them. And do not forget the secret weapon that not enough people talk about: set pieces. Arsenal lead the Premier League in goals from set pieces this season against PSG, a team that presses extremely high and constantly commits fouls in the opponent's half. Every free kick, every corner is a deadly opportunity handed directly to Arsenal without needing to build anything at all. However, the problem waiting for Arsenal on the other side is far from simple. Luis Enrique's PSG are certainly a difficult puzzle for Mikel Arteta's squad. They are the reigning Champions League holders, having just produced one of the greatest semi-final matches in Champions League history, showing their mentality by defeating Bayern Munich right at Allianz Arena to reach Budapest. Kvaratskhelia, a player operating on a different level compared to the rest of world football right now. One moment of genius from him, one creative decision in a split second, can completely change the entire direction of a match in a way no one can fully predict or stop. That is the harsh truth about players at that level. They always possess the ability to do what nobody expects. Alongside Kvaratskhelia in attack is the 2025 Ballon d'Or winner, Ousmane Dembélé. With relentless movement, he can appear on the right wing, left wing, and through the centre. He's everywhere on the field. This will be an extreme challenge for Arsenal's two centre-backs against a player full of energy and currently at the peak of his form. In addition, PSG also possess a midfield considered among the best in the world with Vitinha and João Neves. The two Portuguese players are the soul of this team with their ability to circulate the ball and create unpredictable moments of brilliance. Besides that, PSGs are trying to defend their Champions League title, something only Real Madrid have achieved in the modern era of the competition. That pressure does not break PSG. If anything, it only makes them more focused and disciplined than ever under Luis Enrique, who completely transformed the club's culture from a collection of individual stars into a collective with iron discipline.
I know the night before the game in Budapest, you will be obviously very focused with your game, but at CBS, we have a party the night before the game, so if you want to invite the president and if he wants to come to the party, I understand. Listen, if you want to relax yourself,
of course.
You can come.
I am not going there, but you can invite Mikel Arteta. I think he deserves to go the day before with you.
There is another risk we also cannot underestimate. This is only the second Champions League final in Arsenal's entire history. The first was in 2006, and they lost to Barcelona. The experience of closing the deal, knowing how to stay composed in the final minutes of a final when everything becomes most chaotic, is something you only gain by having been there before. Arsenal have never been there. That is a real risk, not something I can repeat over and over until it disappears.
It's what it is. We knew the level of the opposition that we had to face, either way, Bayern Munich or PSG. We know the quality that they have, and that's it. But obviously, we are as well very confident that when we get to that moment, we're going to deliver what we need to do. But I'm assuming that criticism is positive and negative, yeah? I'm assuming. When we talk about criticism, it's positive and negative, and that's what makes you better. I mean, that's when you want to set higher standards and performance levels that can give you the chance to compete for the two most prestigious competitions probably in Europe. You have to be prepared for that because you know the challenge, difficulty of it, and it does make you better. That's for certain.
PSG have the better squad on paper. PSGs have more experience. PSG are the clear favourites, and anyone saying otherwise is lying to you or lying to themselves. All of those things are true. But I still believe Arsenal can win, not because they are stronger individually, not because of being a fan of anyone, but because Throughout this entire season, Arteta has built a team that knows exactly who they are, knows exactly what they want, and most importantly, never loses itself no matter how the match unfolds. In football, a team without fear that fully understands its identity and has a system strong enough to endure every pressure, that team always has a chance. Always. Champions League history is full of finals where the underdog won through discipline and belief in their system. And if Arsenal win in Budapest, it will be the greatest moment in this club's history, not equal to the Invincibles, but bigger, because the Invincibles was the story of a perfect season within a domestic competition. But this would be the story of a team rising from 20 years of darkness, overcoming the strongest enemies in Europe, and taking the one thing the entire world said they did not deserve to have. That is the kind of story history writes in gold ink. May 2026, Budapest, Puskás Arena, and history, as it always has been, is written only once. Arsenal, do not let this opportunity slip away. If you enjoy our video, don't forget to hit like to help this video reach to other football lovers, and hit the subscribe button to follow for more interesting videos about football